It's 8:30 in the morning and It's 8:30 in the morning and I'm about to head out to the Weber Kettle to put on a hunk of meat that's going to be smoking all day. That's right, today I'm going to be doing a pork butt, but not just any pork butt, I'm going to be doing Southwestern pork butt. For the Southwestern pork butt, we're going to do a couple different things to flavor it up while it's on the smoker. One is we're going to be inserting garlic cloves into the meat. The other thing is we're going to be putting a rub on it. Now this rub consists of 7 ingredients. I know I don't like to go over 5 most of the time, but this really needs those extra 2 ingredients to sort of round out the flavor profile of this. The ingredients for the rub are 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and 2 tablespoons of ground oregano. Then we have a tablespoon of brown sugar, a teaspoon of pasilla chili powder, a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. All we're going to do is put that into our bowl and mix it up. Just going to put our lid on and shake. There's our rub mixture. Let's give it a taste. That's nice, very Southwestern, especially with that oregano and that cumin and pasilla chili. Really nice. Time to move on to the star of the show, our 9.5-pound bone-in pork butt. It's been trimmed up, it's got a nice fat cap on the underside. We're going to be smoking it fat side down today. First thing we've got to do is get our garlic cloves inserted. We're just taking a sharp, short knife and we're going to make some slits. Just kind of spread it around. We're just going to take our peeled garlic cloves and insert them. Got to make sure those slits are deep enough. If they're not, cut them a little deeper. You want to push those way down in. All right, our garlic's inserted. Time to get the rub on. I always try to figure some way to make this more interesting. I could put some funky music to it.
Slow-mo.
But at the end of the day, it's just getting rub on. With that cumin and that oregano, you got this really nice greenish color to it. We're even going to throw a little bit on this fat cap back here. You can see that's a pretty substantial fat cap. Didn't want to trim this down any further because this is going to be on there for, you know, anywhere up to 9 or 10 hours today, depending on conditions and the temperature we maintain. I really want this to be tender. So that fat cap is going to help protect this meat. Get this side, you can see the nice bone right here. All right, our Southwestern pork butt is ready to head out to the Weber Kettle. We've got our garlic cloves inserted. We've got that rub on the outside. That 7-ingredient rub. I know, 2 more than I like to use. But it smells wonderful on this already, so let's get this out there and get it smoking. All right, so the Weber Kettle is at 301 degrees, which is higher than we want. Today I'm going to be shooting for a temperature range between 225 and 275, hoping to keep it right around 250. So I have the kettle set up for indirect cooking. I have charcoal briquettes in 1 briquette basket, and I have a drip pan with about a ½ inch of water in it. That's going to help keep some moisture in here today. So let's get this pork butt on. Position it right over that drip pan. Let's get our internal meat probe in here. Let's see how that looks temperature-wise. Perfect, we're showing a meat temp 39. Came out of the refrigerator about 30 minutes ago. We've got a good spot in there. I like that positioning. All right, let's get a few more briquettes on here and some hickory wood. First thing, I want to knock a little bit of this ash down. We'll go with 4 fresh briquettes and we'll add as we need to. We're also putting on a little stick of hickory. We'll let that hickory catch before we put the lid on and adjust our vents. I always like to see a little bit of flame before I smother it to get the smoke going. I know some people like to put their wood chunks under the charcoal mixed in. I've done that, nothing wrong with that. I just prefer to have these sort of, you know, 8 to 10 inch sticks that I'm using in these briquette baskets. I prefer to have those laying on top of the charcoal. It's also easier to add as the cook goes along during the day. All right, we got good flame. Let's get the lid on and adjust our vents. So my top vent for now, I'm gonna leave fully open. It's the bottom vent I wanna dial down a little bit. So I'm gonna adjust my bottom vent to the 2/3 open mark, right there. And I'll watch this for a while with the temperature and see if this works or if I need to adjust it down, let it open a little bit. I really like to keep the top vent 100% open if possible. I will dial that down if I need to, but we'll watch it and see. Got good hickory smoke rolling out of the kettle already. Smells wonderful. You know, if you've watched any of my videos, I love hickory. Our kettle temp's coming back up, 208 now. We'll watch this for about 10 minutes or so and just sort of see where it evens out. Okay, our temperature looks to have stabilized at 256. I'm happy with that. We've got an internal meat temperature of 41, it's just slowly coming up. So we're gonna go ahead and let this keep cooking. We'll monitor for temp. We'll add charcoal as necessary. We'll add some more wood in a while, but we've got a long cook ahead of us. We're gonna be taking this pork butt today to about 160, 165 degrees internal before we wrap it in foil with a little bit of moisture added. And that's gonna help us take it to our ultimate final temperature of somewhere right around 200 degrees. But it's all gonna depend upon tenderness. We'll be probing it for tenderness. We'll take it as high as we need to go, probably no higher than 203, 205 degrees. But as soon as it's tender, that's when we're done. That's when we'll take it off, get it inside, pull it, and add some more seasoning to it. All right, we've been going for just a little over an hour. Our internal meat temperature looks like it's 68. The kettle temp's 240, running really good. Time to give the surface of the pork butt a little bit of moisture and to check our coals and everything. Nice color and really nice smell coming off of this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of apple cider, non-alcoholic, on the surface of this. My spray bottle broke. I still haven't replaced it. I've got one on order. So I'm just gonna use my little squirt bottle here to drizzle some apple cider over the surface of this. Just to keep it a little bit moist. Let's check our charcoal over here and see how we're doing. We're gonna add some briquettes and another piece of hickory. Gonna knock the ash down. I think we added 5 briquettes there, maybe 4. All right, looking good. Let's get the lid on, get back up to temp. Bring you back in a little while. All right, it's 3 hours. We've still got some good smoke rolling. I added some hickory probably about 30 minutes ago. Got an internal meat temperature of 113 and a kettle temperature of 249. Perfect. Right, we're going for 250, dead in the middle of 225 and 275. We need to give another little spritz of some apple cider on this pork butt and check our coals. It's looking really nice. Starting to get a little bark on there, scratching it. Yep. But we want to keep some moisture there too. Let's check our coals and our wood. We're looking pretty good there. That piece of hickory is just igniting because it's got a lot of oxygen with the lid off. I think we're doing okay on coals right now. I think we're just gonna let this ride for another half hour or so before I check it again. But the temp's holding good right there at that 249 it was. So let's get the lid back on. I'll keep monitoring the temperatures, check if I need to add more coals. Bring you back in just a little bit. Okay, we are 5.5 hours in. Our internal meat temperature is 149, kettle temperature is 267, a little bit above that 250. I added some charcoal a few minutes ago, but now I want to give it another little spritz, be the last one before it goes in foil once we reach 160. Oh, looking really nice. Nice bark. You can feel that, scratch it. It's looking really good. I'm gonna be spritzing with my squirt bottle using apple cider, but I've also added some Trader Joe's hot sauce to it. So we're gonna start kicking up this outside a little bit. This is the same stuff that's gonna go into the foil with the pork butt when we wrap it. So we're gonna start adding a little bit more heat on the outside here along with moisture. And that's good. So let's get our lid back on. Keep it cooking. Bring you back when we hit 160 and wrap it. Okay, our kettle temp is 228. Our meat temp is 157, and it's been 157 for about 20 minutes. So we're basically in the stall. So I'm gonna take it off just a few degrees short of that 160 target, get it wrapped in foil with some moisture added, wrapped up, and back on to finish cooking. Really nice looking bark on that. Okay, we're gonna remove our probe. We're gonna try and remember where it went. I don't know how well that'll work, but all right, let's get this to the foil. That is looking so nice. I know it's hard to see with the foil reflecting all the light, but also the light's very weird today. We've got brush fires in the area, so we've got smoke. It's just blech. So let's get our moisture added here. This is that apple cider, non-alcoholic, with some Trader Joe's pepper sauce added into it. Let's get our first layer of wrapping done. And this is the side where my probe was, so I'm going to try and remember that so I can get the probe right back in. All right, let's get this back on. All right, let's see if I can get close to where I was before. Let's see, we're showing kettle temp 120, the lid's off. At 158, I think I hit it pretty close. All right, let's get this lid back on, let it keep cooking. I'll bring you back when we're somewhere in the 190s, and I'll start probing for tenderness then. Okay, our internal meat temp is 196, the kettle temp 267. So it's time to start probing this for tenderness. See if we're done or close. Let's see. So I'm not really looking for temperature here. I'm just looking for tenderness. Just gonna be inserting it through the foil. It should really feel like there's almost no resistance other than the foil. I just feel a tiny bit of resistance down there in the dead center. So I'm going to give this just a few more minutes on here. Let's let it get to 200 degrees. Okay, the kettle temp is holding at 248 and our internal meat temperature is 200. Let's probe it again and see if we're tender. So the area I was uncertain about last time was right here. So let's go back in here. Oh yeah, that's tender. All right, we are done. I'm gonna get this off the kettle. I'll see you inside. Before I transfer this to a pan so I can shred it and tear it up and all that good stuff, I wanna open it right here so we can take a look and see. A lot of juice there. Steam coming off, that's good. All right, let's take a look here and see. Oh, yes. Let's see, I think I can probably do this right here. Here's the bone. Pulled right out. Yeah, she's done. She's tender. All right, I'm gonna transfer this to a pan so I can pull this. I'll bring you right back. Okay, so it sort of decided to fall apart as I was lifting it into this pan, which is not a bad thing. That just shows how tender it is. Now I'm going to see if I can get a large portion of that fat cap just by turning it over. So I can remove some of that fat. Might not be possible. It's just, boy, this is just... But that bark on there, look at that. All right, may not be able to get that fat cap off all in one piece, but you know what? Little fat gets in, that's all right. We'll pull the rest out. Ooh, and those garlic cloves that are just like dissolving in there now. Let me see if I can turn this over and get some of that fat. There we go. We're gonna get some of it. We don't wanna lose all the fat. That's part of the flavor in here. All right, let's get that in there. Let's start tearing that up. can do this any way you want. You can use scissors, you can use forks. I've used everything and whatever works. I will probably end up using a kitchen scissors on some of these bigger, longer pieces just to make it easier. I'll bring you back as soon as this is all shredded. All right, so we have our Southwestern pork butt shredded here, all pulled apart. Some big pieces, some small. Oh, look at that barky piece. Someone's gonna try that. Oh, that's good. But we are not done yet. Time to add another layer of flavor to this. If this was pulled pork for barbecue, we might be adding some sauce, some vinegar, things like that. This is Southwestern. I'm going to be adding some green enchilada sauce. I'm going to mix this up. See if we need to add more. Now this took a total of just over 9.5 hours to smoke on the Weber Kettle. Oh, this smells good. Let me give it a quick little taste here and see. That's good. I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit more sauce, just a tiny bit. Get this mixed up. And I am not just going to be tasting this today sort of as, oh, here, I'll taste this, or I'll make a pulled pork sandwich. There is going to be a pulled pork sandwich, but it's going to be a Southwestern pulled pork sandwich. I'm also going to be making a Southwestern pulled pork taco and a Southwestern pulled pork rice bowl with a cilantro lime rice. That stuff's all made. I'm just going to be adding the pork to it and tasting all three. So yeah, it's a feast for me tonight. All right, it's time to make the Southwestern pulled pork sandwich, the taco, and the rice bowl. First thing I'm going to build here is this rice bowl that has cilantro lime rice, and I'm going to top it with this Southwestern pork butt. Oh, just drizzle some scallions on top of that. Now I'm going to move on to the taco. I'm actually going to do 2 tacos here because I really like tacos. So let's get some of this pork in there. Let's fill our second shell too. And I'm going to top this with a little bit of Hatch's salsa, or Hatch chili salsa, whatever you want to call it. And a little bit of cilantro and some diced onions. Now I'm going to move on to the sandwich. I've got a simple toasted hamburger bun here. Going to put some of this Southwestern pulled pork on here, just like you'd put barbecued pulled pork. And I'm going to add some Trader Joe's pepper sauce to the top. Oh yes, look at that. And just put our lid on. And now, my friends, it's time for me to taste all of this. 9.5 hours it took to smoke that Southwestern pork butt. I wanted to take you all the way through from beginning to end to show every step in how I smoke a pork butt on the Weber Kettle, because maybe you're going to want to do that. And let me tell you, it works wonderfully. I've done it before on the Weber Kettle. You can do it on an offset, an electric, any way you want. The Weber Kettle is just something that a lot of people have, and it's easy to smoke on. It's great to smoke on. So if you have one or a charcoal grill that's similar, I would encourage you to try and smoke on it and do a pork butt, because they come out wonderful. Now it's time to dive into this, and I'm going to enjoy every bite. First, I'm actually just going to taste some of the pork butt itself. I put a little bit of that Trader Joe's pepper sauce on it. Get a really nice piece of bark here. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, you know, I love pork butt that's done traditionally, you know, with more of a barbecue-y flavor. A barbecue sauce that you mix in, or a vinegar sauce that you mix in. But it's nice to change things up once in a while. And going Southwest with pork butt, you can't go wrong. I can tell you what my wife's going to do with this tomorrow. She will take this, fry it up in a pan, and make carnitas. She does it every time I do a pork butt, whether it's Southwestern or not. This is going to be perfect for that. Okay, I've got to move on from that, or I'm not going to have enough room for the rest of the stuff. Now I'm going to go for the rice bowl. Got the cilantro lime rice that my wife made in the Instant Pot. It's a really simple recipe. You make rice in the Instant Pot, You add some lime juice, some lime zest to taste, stir in some cilantro. That's it. Add a little black pepper too. Let's see. That goes really well with the lime. Nice hit of that rub and also some garlic, because when I tore this up, those pieces of garlic just dissolved in here, and I got a nice little hit of it. 2 down, 2 to go. The Southwestern pulled pork sandwich. Here I go. Got that with that nice Trader Joe's pepper sauce on it. You can put any sort of sauce you want on it or no sauce at all. Here goes. Oh, wow. I don't know why, but something really works with this. I toasted the bun a little bit, but there's something about the Southwestern flavor in this sandwich with that pepper sauce, but boy, is it good. So far, this is my favorite presentation. Go figure, you know, a pulled pork sandwich, which is what I would have done with normal pulled pork. Works really well. Okay, I've got to move on to the tacos before I am too full. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to be too full. I'm eating all of this. I'm not talking about all the pulled pork. I'm going to save some of that. But I'm eating the tacos, the sandwich, and the rice bowl. Here we go. Nice little crispy taco. That's really good. It reminds me of a carnitas taco. Little bit more garlic flavor because of that garlic we put inside the pork butt. I really like this. If I did this again, I think I'd hit the tacos with an even hotter sauce. I've got to tell you, that pork is so tender. It's melting. I know there's a lot of fat in there, but it feels like it's melting. So let me give a quick rundown here. Put the pulled pork in about 9 this morning. It was done about 6:30 tonight. 9.5 hours, kept it between 225 and 275 almost the entire time. At 160 degrees internal, we took it and wrapped it in foil, gave it some more moisture in there after we'd spritzed it about every hour before that. And that cooked for several more hours on the Weber Kettle until we hit about 198, tested it, gave it a couple more degrees, 200. That was the perfect tenderness. Took it off, pulled it, shredded it, seasoned it, gave it some of that green enchilada sauce, and then put it into 3 different presentations. A rice bowl, a sandwich, and tacos. One of the reasons I wanted to do those 3 presentations was to show you pulled pork doesn't just have to be used one way. There's multiple ways. In fact, there's a lot more ways than I just showed you here. You can come up with whatever you want. I've seen people take it and make pulled pork stew the next day. Pulled pork beans. It's up to you. Use your imagination. That's what I try to do. The key here is giving it that time to get tender. I could have pulled it at 197 or 198, what it was at out there the first time I probed it. I wanted to give it a couple more degrees to see if it got more tender, and it did. And I could tell the difference when I was eating it. So don't be impatient. Give it the time. 9.5 hours is a pretty big investment of time, but it's worth it if you can manage it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel and consider subscribing. And if you do, click that bell for notifications. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great evening. I'll see you again soon.